Hey, howdy, hey, this is Tauntaun of the Something Awful Forums, and welcome to a test video for Let's Play Bullet Witch. Bullet Witch is a run-and-gun third-person shooter released in 2007 by good friends at Atari, and Cavia, who some of you may know as the weirdos behind the series Drakengard, and its actually extremely excellent sequel, Nier, which was released in 2010 for the Xbox 360 and is one of my favorite games of all time. Incidentally, I don't know why they chose that name because Cavia is the scientific name for guinea pig. So I'm not entirely sure if that was intentional or just because it sounded like a really cool name. I'm not entirely sure about the production of Bullet Witch. It seems to me almost like it was a Bugs Life / Ants type situation where somebody heard about Bayonetta and thought, you know what, we guys can do that here and we'll make a lot of money off of it. Unfortunately, they were incorrect. It asks you every time you play this if you want to turn on the autosave function, and I highly recommend anyone that wants to play along at home does this, because Bullet Witch hates you and wants you to suffer. That's also why we're playing on easy mode, at least for this video. I might try normal when I actually play through the whole game, but again, Bullet Witch does not like human beings and wants them all to suffer. Notoriously, one of the unlockable achievements for this game is completing it on the hardest difficulty, and that will net you a whopping 1 gold in gamer score. Yeah, that's the kind of game we're dealing with here. It also has, unfortunately, very long loading times. Okay. Here's the first level, called Clad in Streaming Black. It does immediately dump you into a mob of 3 of our mooks for the game. These guys are called Geists. They kind of remind me of Uncle Frank from Hellraiser before he gets his skin. On their own, individually, they're not actually that hard, but when you're dropped into a group with them like this, you can die pretty much instantaneously, because they aggro on you, and your health
has increased since we got here.
basically just gets destroyed.
It's proof the main body is nearby.
That putrid stench of death. The demon here, it's even stronger than I feared. It seems this city is also doomed to destruction.
Anyway, I skipped the opening cutscenes for this game, but that was Alicia talking to her demon Geist. Fuck, his name's Darkness, whatever. That was the spell ring. This is our dodge, it's left trigger. Spell ring is brought up by either of the bumper buttons. It is right trigger to shoot. The B button swaps the output of her gun. We've got 3 different modes for now. X reloads, and Y does nothing. A is actually melee attack. It's surprisingly powerful if you can manage to get into melee range with something without managing to get killed. You'll also notice that Alicia's movement speed is not particularly anything to write home about. I pause here because I really don't like the skybox for some reason. It pisses me off. I think it looks ugly. But yeah. I'm not really a huge fan of the environments in this game. I think they look kind of cheap, and the shadows look even worse. A brief note on the spells is that an unusual proportion of them are actually completely fucking worthless. And I'm going to be showing off one of them right here. This one's called Willpower. And the idea behind it, and this is advertised on the back of the game's box, if you ever go out and buy this, is that you're supposed to be able to use items in the environment to push at and destroy some of your enemies. It doesn't generally work very well. I don't tend to use it because it's worthless. Here I show off how powerful the melee move can be, but again, we're playing on easy mode. I believe in normal when I was playing it, it takes about 4 hits to destroy the Geists, but 2 will pop them on easy mode. There are also a number of NPCs dotted throughout every level, and you're awarded a score at the end of it, and this score is determined not only by your kill rate, but also by how many NPCs you're able to save. And here we see Alicia spraying blood, probably spreading AIDS and disease to this poor guy.
This is all I can offer you in return.
They very kindly give you items that serve absolutely no purpose whatsoever. The NPCs in this game, especially the non-combat ones, we'll get to those in the second level if they ever actually make it there, are actually completely fucking worthless. There is no point to them whatsoever. They have various audio clips, and none of it's particularly relevant or interesting. Here I try to show off the sniper rifle, but aiming in this game is not very easy. You use the right stick to change what direction Alicia is facing in, and the left stick kind of strafes around. I always have it set to the absolute highest possible speed when you move the camera around, but even the fastest speed is not particularly fast, so if my attacks are looking a little bit sluggish, that's probably why. Now again, I skipped over the opening cutscene, but I do believe that we are 7 years in a post-apocalyptic world where hell has opened up, and where the Geists are coming from. I'm just kind of really in awe at how wonderfully this suburban neighborhood is held up. Notably, Geists can shoot NPCs, but you can't. You can shoot right through them, and it doesn't seem to hurt them at all. I also like to stick Geists in slightly awkward areas, like up on balconies, you know, people's porches, that kind of thing. One of the things I actually do rather like about this game is the Geists actually have some fairly amusing banter as you fight them. I'm not sure, none of the really good lines happen to be in this video, but nonetheless, some of the stuff they say is actually kind of funny. Like, if you manage to be killed by a group of Geists, one of them might happen to say, as your dying animation takes place, now I can do anything I want to her, and it's really creepy and kind of gross, but still kind of hilarious at the same time. Design-wise, I'm not really crazy about Alicia's design. It's very sort of evanescent, 14-year-old goth type look, and like I said, she doesn't move particularly quickly. And I don't believe those high heel boots are any excuse, because Bayonetta runs around in ridiculous boots, and she still manages to clip along at a fairly good pace. Something cool actually happens up ahead. I've never actually gotten this to happen before, but I managed to shoot an exploding barrel in the background and makes that whole little building collapse. Never gotten that to work before. Like a lot of other shooter games, there are exploding barrels and that kind of thing in this game, but I find some of them really hard to activate, and there's actually a mission later on. It's kind of a requirement. You're supposed to blow up a bridge or something, and they're really hard to see against the kind of dull brownish backgrounds. Ugh. And sometimes I find it's hard to see the Geists. It's easier rather to tell where they are based on where the bullets are coming from, that kind of thing.
Nowadays are the dead.
Again, that's the Darkness. The Darkness is Alicia's demon buddy who lives inside her brain. I wouldn't call it a Jekyll and Hyde type situation, more like an extremely annoying roommate kind of thing. He doesn't really have a whole lot to offer. He apparently has given Alicia her magic abilities and sort of arbitrarily unlocks them from time to time and from level to level. Their relationship kind of reminds me of the one between Samus Aran and that really asshole captain dude from Metroid Other M. Like, there's literally no reason to keep Alicia from having access to all of the possible magic powers, but nonetheless, he feels the need to keep her cut off. And this wonderful 2D wall here is a barrier. They are unbreakable, as I demonstrate entirely too many times here. There's a Geist behind it, and for some reason he can shoot us, but we can't shoot him. He also cannot dodge over it. The dodge move is actually really useful, and it will keep you alive in large groups of Geists, because it's got a certain number of invincibility frames. So I abuse it liberally. A lot of the game is made up of this. The levels aren't... Some places are densely populated with enemies, others are pretty sparse. I'm just showing off the environment here. I remember seeing a few ditches/canals while I was in Japan, but I don't know how common they are in America, where this is supposed to be set. My suspicion is not particularly. Ah, checkpoint. These are very important. Because like I said, Bullet Witch hates you, wants you to suffer, so it's kind of a relief to know that you will respawn back at a slightly more easy
He
rate.
must be the one who made that shield. How pathetic.
This son of a bitch is a walnut head. I hate walnut heads. I despise them with all my heart and soul. They are the worst. The first 4 that we encounter in this level are actually fairly easy to take care of, but the game does not treat you with such gloved hands later on. I believe the first time I played through the second level, I died probably 20 different times to these sons of bitches. They also sound a little bit like somebody's grandfather singing or mumbling to himself. It's kind of creepy. Oh, here I show off the shotgun, which is, all told, fairly powerful, but doesn't have the biggest range. It's a little easy to aim with. There we go. Again, they're not usually that easy to take out. For some reason, these cutscenes here kind of remind me of some of the really short but worthless ones that appear in like Donkey Kong 64, where, you know, like a ladder appears or something.
It looks like the shield is down. Let's keep moving.
Ah, I made a mistake there. I did not mean to show off Ancient Wall. It's not a particularly useful spell, but we do get some mileage out of it because there are some enemies in further levels that are big pains in the ass, and you need to use Ancient Wall in order to not be instantly killed by them. Again, willpower, completely fucking worthless 90% of the time. Like, I think those boxes just kind of go straight through him. You'll also notice that once an object has been interacted with willpower, you then are able to walk through it, and it doesn't seem to work or have a hitbox or anything. I don't know. It kind of amazes me that these guys were capable of making Nier after this piece of crap. Another walnut head, and there's actually a Geist way in the background up on one of the balconies. They like to hide out on that kind of thing. It's annoying. Her machine gun has a surprisingly big range, though. It's, as far as I know, it's second only to our good friend, the minigun, which I haven't actually bought yet. I buy it at the end of the level. And for some reason, this walnut head is taking more bullets than the first one. Oh, I guess I haven't really talked about health or magic yet. Those little white pips there represent the maximum possible health and magic that Alicia is capable of having at any given moment. As you kill enemies, you start off every level with a lowered magic meter. As you kill enemies, the little pip moves up and up the bar until it's completely full. Magic is useful for magic spells, and more importantly for reloading, because her, it's called a gun rod, I guess. Her minigun, machine gun, whatever, uses magic to reload. Those are magic bullets. Usually reloading isn't much of a problem, but if you're using the shotgun or something in a boss fight where it's harder to build up mana, or magic or whatever, it can actually become kind of dicey. And you mostly will want to stick with the machine gun in boss fights because it's just easier to keep track of how many bullets you're using. I almost never use the reload function with the X button because I just don't find it useful, and she'll automatically reload it when your bullets empty out. It only takes like a second to reload anyway, so you're not generally in any danger while you're reloading. As for health, as you get attacked by enemies, it does actually lower your health meter's possible maximum amount of health, but it actually regenerates on its own, so it's not too much of a concern. Once you've maxed out your bar to max health, you're generally okay unless you get aggroed by a whole bunch of Geists in one place. So now the lemon-flavored barrier is gone, and we'll be able to continue in our wonderfully generic semi-American type city. Village, I guess. Are we in the suburbs? Yeah, I'd say these are suburbs. Not sure what I was doing there. Oh yeah, I was showing off that stop sign to her right there. Kind of just pops in and out. It's pretty ugly. To the right here, this game's pretty linear, but once or twice it's easy to get turned around. This is one of the areas. That tunnel's blocked off, obviously. And here I show that the ocean is really quite ugly. And there's certain places where you don't even get to see that little, like, scrolling type animation. It's just literally a flat 2D thing in the background. Again, the melee attack shows its usefulness. Oh yeah, and I kind of forgot about the tank here. This is our first sort of semi-dangerous type enemy.
The attacks won't do us any good here. Time to call down the thunder.
And here the darkness has very kindly granted us a new type of magic. She's got 2 rings of basic spells, and then the final one contains her most powerful ones. The one we'll be getting the most mileage out of is actually lightning. You use this in just about every level. It will instantly destroy tanks. Sometimes multiple tanks in a row. As far as I know, there's no other way to actually destroy tanks, so it's definitely a must-have. And now you can see, now that I've used that spell, the pip on my magic meter has gone down quite a lot. And I destroyed someone's water tower there. Sorry, guys. It was necessary evil. Yeah, burning husk of a tank there. I go up to show off the burger shop here because, I don't know, kind of amuse me. Fresh burgers. Delicious. Oh, I actually got willpower to work there. Ideally that's what happens, is you push a car at a dude and it makes him kind of fly off in a hilarious death pose and he ragdolls all over the place. Yeah, really ugly burger shop here. Not sure if I would find that appetizing enough to go in. Probably smells like cleaning products and burnt meat. I wonder how many of these cars are actually in working order. I would have thought that, well, I mean, if I was living in a post-apocalyptic world, I'm pretty sure the first thing I would raid for important metals to make my invincible death shield out of would be cars. And Wonderful Physics Engine balances a trash can right on its edge. Just like in real life. In terms of enemy diversity, this level is crap. I realize that it's a tutorial level, but nonetheless, we don't get introduced to anything particularly interesting until level 2, where we'll be seeing a little bit more variety. Not much, though. There's only about 5 types of enemies and 2 bosses in this game, so you know, that's the kind of quality we're dealing with here, guys. Try to use willpower here again. Does not go as planned. Ugh. There's a lot of killing geists in this game. A lot. Supposedly, if you're able to kill every single enemy in a level, then it nets you 300 skill points at the end of it, and you're able to purchase more stuff with those skill points. I haven't been able to do it. I don't know if there's like secret pockets of enemies hiding here and there, or something like that. I don't know. Sometimes the spawning algorithm for them kind of screws up too. Oh yeah, we can't resurrect a dead guy. I guess that's kind of beyond our witching powers. Nevertheless, because I have had the geists occasionally spawn in really weird areas, like first or second time I ran through this level, one of them spawned on top of a street lamp. And I shot him, and he comically kind of flopped and fell down to the ground after I killed him. It was probably the most fun I've ever gotten out of this game. No, I'm just kidding. I would play it if I didn't actually enjoy it sometimes. Probably this game's biggest asset is there's actually no thought involved in any of this. It's literally just make sure your health bar doesn't dip too low, shoot some dudes, and that's about it. There's no puzzles. There's no strategizing like in Bayonetta. It's pretty meat and potatoes. Story doesn't even have enough intellectual depth compared to like Nier, that kind of thing. Part of the enjoyment of Nier is getting to hear the banter from wonderful NPCs such as Kaine and Grimoire Weiss, but no, all we have is darkness in this, and he's pretty much a glorified tutorial. Also, I don't like him very much. He's boring. Doesn't have, what's his face? Lee O'Brien's voice. Just some generic American dude. Now, I do believe there are a few explosives hanging around this gas station here. But again, I think I've only got them to explode once, and the destruction was not quite as glorious as I was hoping, so. Now, I actually run off to the right here instead of going towards that big bridge because it's actually blocked off to us at the moment, and we've got another walnut head to find before we can continue. And because I already knew this, I immediately head in the right direction. He's not particularly well hidden, though. I mean, he's just barely blocked by this fence around the building, and in fact, I don't even bother going around to kill him. I just shoot him from this side. It's easier that way. Not gonna waste my time, man. I got things to do, like, I don't know, make coffee or whatever. There we go. One other thing about Bullet Witch. As a rule, I don't personally play a lot of first-person shooters or third-person shooters or anything like that. The only one I've really played is Metroid Prime, which has a very nice auto-aim function. Bullet Witch does not have auto-aiming. It is all you twiddling around with the right stick trying to get her to point in the correct direction. It can be a big pain in the ass. Off to the left here we have two things, fuck and all, so I just ignore that. There's an ambulance there. Very handy. I'm sure they get a lot of use out of that thing. Now you'll notice that despite the fact that it's supposed to take place in a post-apocalyptic world, there's actually a surprisingly large amount of infrastructure still left. I'm trying to snipe these dudes. It's not going too well. I don't like the sniper rifle all that much. It doesn't feel more powerful than my regular machine gun, and I find it really hard to aim. Now, this is the...
This bridge seems to be the only road into the city. It probably won't be easy to cross.
Thank you, Captain Obvious. This is sort of like... I don't really want to call it a boss, but it's like the final challenge to the level. Just up over this hill here is another pair of tanks and a bunch of geists. Yeah, you can see this is probably the lowest my health has ever been in the whole level, so I kind of... My strategy is usually to kite these guys over the hill down to where the tank can't hit me, and kill them, and then after they're all dead, I go up and use lightning on the tank. It seems to be the best strategy and gets me killed the least number of times. There are actually a couple different types of geists. Most of them have like, I don't know, AK-47 type thing. Some of them have a grenade launcher. The grenade launcher guys are hilarious because their AI is very, very bad indeed, and they tend to just shoot straight into the ground. They're also shotgun dudes, and they're not really any sort of difficulty at all. The tanks sometimes have the same problem where they'll shoot into the ground instead of at you.
Be gone!
This cutscene plays every time you use a lightning. Every time. I've seen it a lot. Here we go. Tanks are taken care of. Now, the first time I played through this, I really kind of had no idea where to go, because you'd think that once you destroy the tanks, you'd just be able to move on, but there's actually a barrier back there. But the walnut head for it hasn't actually spawned yet, and to get him to spawn, we walk backwards. Now, this is where the walnut heads actually become kind of a challenge, and you'll notice I'm being very prissy about approaching him, and that is because walnut heads actually have telekinetic powers. I'm not entirely sure why. I guess they have big brains or something. Big brains equals telekinesis. And they are easily 100 times more deadly than any other enemy in the entire fucking game. They are brutal and vicious because the physics engine is so fucked up that, the idea is that they pick stuff up from the surrounding environment, such as cars and other bits of debris, and fling them at you. It is overpowered and extremely hard to dodge. Even if you're in your dodging animation and it hits you, you're basically instantly dead. You have to start at the last checkpoint. Why did I throw up an ancient wall there? I don't remember why. Oh yeah, that's why. Need a moment to regroup. This is Raven's Panic. It's the only other useful spell in the game. What it does is it has... I call it a murder of ravens in the description. I don't know if that's the proper term or not. I know it's a murder of crows. Anyway, they basically make the geists freak the fuck out and flail around trying to get the birds off of them so you can run them and shoot them in the face. It is extremely useful, and I use it just about every single level. If you're playing along at home, I definitely recommend this as one of the first spells you buy. Don't get Rose Spear, it's fucking worthless. Maybe I'll demonstrate why later on. Oh yeah, and I missed a couple dudes down at the bottom here. I think this was one of the places where Geist stuff spawned on top of the street map. It was, you know, pretty funny. This one time at band camp. Oh well. Anyway, and our last order of business is to go up and murder that walnut head. Now, you know, this level isn't actually all that long. It's just tedious because Alicia does not move very quickly. And I believe at some point here we actually see the walnut heads. Yeah, we're picking stuff up. I managed to kill him before he throws it at me. There we go. That's our final barrier done. Part of the reason they're so hard to fight is that they'll pick stuff up, and as they're dragging it towards themselves to form like an orbit of debris, it floats in place for a couple of seconds, and it seems to be totally random how long a delay there is between them picking it up and then throwing it at you.
It appears the main body is in that city.
Here we go. This is what I'm talking about. Too much infrastructure. Why is there a newspaper in this post-apocalyptic world? I don't know of any other ones that have one. Here we go. I love this. Just by chance, I got it to spell out ass. I am literally 5 years old, and this is extremely amusing to me. First level, yeah. Hooray. So here's the power-up screen. Ability just covers magic points and hit points. We've got our gun rod. I've already purchased the 3 main forms. Most just buy the Gatling gun form here. I always think of Terminator. And here's our spells. Because I'm so low on skill points, the only other thing I can upgrade is Sacrifice, but I kind of scroll through these for a bit. Element Shot supposedly adds an element to the different types of guns you have. What's next? Ancient Wall is kind of an all-purpose shield type thing. Rose Spear is fucking worthless. The idea is that she throws a rose and makes a bunch of spears pop up. Then we have Raven's Panic and a couple other things, which I'll get to later. Yeah.